for the warm welcome. I would like to thank Mr. Erik de Heer, Jordi Cruyff and Patrick for the trust and the confidence to be part of this project. Thank you very much. I'm married with Indonesian. We already for 25 years, lived already for 4 years in Indonesia, in Lippo Karawaci. And our daughter is now here since July. We're already here back in Indonesia again. After 5 years Netherlands, we decided to go back where we're missing the warmth and we want to go back to the warmth of Indonesia. So yeah, it's a special story.
Indeed, and it's a special connection, and it's great to have you back. I guess that's a proper way to say it. Jadi untuk teman-teman yang belum tahu, Alex sendiri emang ada koneksi tersendiri ke Indonesia. Sebelumnya dia ingin ngucapin terima kasih untuk PSSI, Bapak Erik Thohir dan juga Coach Patrick dan technical advisor Jordi Cruyff atas kesempatan dan kepercayaan yang diberikan kepada beliau. Dan beliau pun punya istri, mereka sudah menikah 25 tahun dan istrinya adalah orang Indonesia juga, dan anak dan istri dia sudah di sini dari bulan Juli kemarin, dan dia juga sempat tinggal di sini selama 4 tahun di daerah Lippo Karawaci. Ini adalah sesuatu yang emang menyenangkan buat dia bisa kembali lagi, bisa merasakan cuaca yang hangat di Indonesia. So again, welcome, and it's great having you back. So let's start by first having you share perhaps your quick kind of short-term and then perhaps further into your long-term plan as your new role as technical director for the Indonesian Football Federation.
Yeah, so I'm a strong believer that it's never an individual who makes success. It's a nation who makes success. It's a club who makes success. And like the video was ending is, let's shape the game together, and that's also my philosophy. So we build up a nation together. Everybody's involved. Everybody needs to be aligned. Everybody needs to be listened to. Where are we? How does it look like? What are the strengths? What should be built on? Where are the gaps? So everybody should be involved, from the grassroots coach to the professional coach. Everybody needs to be together and together to design the plan for the long term. So for this reason, I would like to give myself also the first 100 days just to listen, to talk, to analyze, to observe. Where is Indonesia now? What's been the strong points? What's been done the last couple of years? There's tremendous work being done. Where are the strengths? Where are the gaps? And where we need to go to? So it's shaping the game together. I think that's the most important, because we all have one purpose, a bigger Indonesia as a nation, all together.
Okay, so I think the common thread there would be success is achieved together, I believe. Jadi untuk Alex, dia sangat percaya bahwa kesuksesan itu harus dibangun bersama, mau itu dari sebuah negara ataupun dari sebuah klub, dan itu caranya untuk bisa membentuk bersama, untuk bisa membangun bersama juga. Dan dia juga sangat percaya bahwa semuanya harus mulai dari bawah, dari level grassroots sampai pun amatir sebelum masuk ke level profesional. Dan di sini dia ingin banyak cari tahu dulu, apalagi dari 100 hari pertama di mana dia akan observasi, analisa, dia akan bertemu sama yang lain-lain juga untuk bisa menilai apa ini tujuan kebersamaannya dan gimana caranya untuk ngisi kekosongan, ataupun bisa analisa kekuatan kita di mana saja. So, when you were appointed as technical director of the JFA, or Jordan Football Association, that was in 2019. At that time, Jordan was ranked 98th in the FIFA rankings, and during your 6-year tenure, they have risen to 64th and qualified for the first ever World Cup. So could you tell us what changed in your time there and how you plan on applying some of those experiences here to our federation and our program?
Yeah, so there was an amazing story where the achievement is not being done by one individual, but it's done by a system. So you need to have sustainable success. So it's not only a one-time-a-day success. So you need to build a proper system where you have opportunities for talented players to be in the loop, to develop themselves, to have proper coaches in front of them who understands the need through education systems, build up a good, clear player pathway from the village to the first national team. And that there's a good, clear identification system, but then also that clubs can work in a good way on a long term, so that competition models are being designed that you have a lot of playing opportunities. It's competency based, so level based, so that same level is playing against each other, no matter what the level is. If you're now playing in club level, village level, or you're playing at professional level, how strong and how competitive the game is, how more enjoy and fun you will have. So a proper competition system is very important, education system, talent identification, give the original talent an opportunity to grow to the national team system, and have also an international scouting system available to grow into development plan. And I think the most important is that it starts with identity. So where we are standing for, Indonesia, where we are standing for, how we want to be played, how we build up the connection between the nation and the national team itself. So between the people as well to your national football philosophy. There need to be alignment, there need to be harmony between each other so it's recognizable. So the values of the nation itself need to be implemented inside your national football philosophy, what's been spread out over the different pillars.
Oke, saya sebenarnya nanyakan sekalian juga menunjukkan, mengingatkan bahwa Jordan ini saat di 2019 ranking di FIFA-nya di posisi 98 dan saat ini saya baru cek tadi pagi juga mereka di posisi 64 dan sudah kualifikasi untuk Piala Dunia untuk pertama kali. Jadi saya menanya Alex apa yang dia observasi dalam 6 tahun dia di sana dan yang bisa diaplikasikan ke sini, dan sebenarnya dia mulai dengan membahas bahwa sebuah sistem ini yang bisa membangun kesuksesan bukan dari individu, dan ini caranya untuk bisa membuat ini sustainable atau bertahan. Terutama ada banyak hal yang harus dibangun dari kepelajaran, edukasi untuk bisa membangun sistem ini juga. Gimana caranya untuk membangun jalur atau perjalanan dari pemain atau pemain muda yang dari perkampungan sampai ke level pro, dan ini juga harus ada sebuah sistem untuk identifikasi bakat or talent identification. Ada juga hal-hal seperti scouting secara internasional, dan yang paling penting adalah Indonesia sepak bola ini identitasnya apa. Soalnya identitasnya sepak bola Indonesia ini harus dalam satu jalur dan bersama dengan filosofi yang akan dijalankan dan value kita sendiri sebagai sebuah negara. Jadi rakyat dan negara kita dan tim sepak bola dan federasi semua harus bersatu untuk punya visi dan misi yang sama. So I want to talk about your experience early this year, Alex, where you visited Indonesia, specifically Surabaya, correct? You were here for a competition with Jordan. Could you tell us some of your first impressions when you came to the football players and some of the fans as well during your experience here in competition?
Yeah, amazing. A lot of warmth. So we were here participating with the Madrini under-20 team, where we played a friendly tournament against Indonesia under-20, India and Syria. And what I really felt and observed was the warmth between the fan base as well with the national team. And no matter what the results are, there is a strong connection between both sides. And what really impressed me, and you see it also back in the first team, is that at the end of the game where this connection is between the fans as well with the players and the staff, where you sense the respect and the appreciation of the players and the staff that they are putting all the effort and energy inside the national team. So it's a lot of warmth. What you really see, no matter what the results is, there is so much support and so much pride for your players, and also organizational way. But the feeling, the spirit between both stakeholders is tremendous. It's very special, very unique, I can say.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier when we met that it's something you haven't seen before, correct?
No,
Anywhere in the world, and you've had a lot of worldly experience.
No. there are moments as players and staff, you need your fans, you need your nation to feel them, to support you. So if there are moments in the games or that the success is not going well, or the phases in the game is not going well, but then when the fan base is there, they are the player number 12. They push you forwards. They give you support. They give you the ambition again to lift you up from the difficult moments. And that's what I see here in Indonesia. It's unbelievable strong. The passion, the pride, and the unity, the connection together. That makes Indonesia special and different than any other countries.
Jadi Alex ini sempat di awal tahun ini, kalau nggak salah di bulan Februari, sempat di sini bersama tim Mandrini U20, di mana ada laga kebersahabatan lawan Indonesia, Syria, dan India juga. Dan di situ dia observasi bahwa ada sebuah kehangatan yang dia ngerasa antara fans sepak bola dan pemain atau timnya sendiri, di mana ada salah satu referensi yang dia contohin adalah di timnas senior. Setelah pertandingan, mau hasilnya menang ataupun kalah, itu ada perkumpulan di tengah lapangan untuk menyanyikan Tanah Airku. Itu bukan hanya pemain, tapi coaching staff juga, pelatih, semua mengumpul di tengah. Dan ini sesuatu yang dia menyatakan dia belum pernah lihat di negara manapun, dan dia pengalamannya cukup banyak ya di negara-negara lain. Jadi ini adalah sesuatu yang sangat penting untuk sepak bola, karena untuk sebuah tim ada momen-momen yang berat di mana tim membutuhkan support dari fans ataupun dari negaranya. Di momen sulit ini fans bisa jadi pemain ke-12 untuk memberikan support atau dukungan dan motivasi untuk bisa memberi kemenangan. I want to talk about something that you mentioned earlier, which is grassroots. And when we talked earlier, you mentioned the importance of football on a grassroots level. And in a country as large as ours, it is still an ongoing challenge. So could you tell us your plans of creating or improving the current system to discover and grow local youth talent in order to strengthen our ecosystem? Because you did mention things like talent identification. How are some of those things implemented?
Yeah, so we're always talking about national teams and high performance, but we have to also focus about the game itself to grow in capacity, to build up a strong base for having a stronger football ecosystem. And it starts already from a very young age to play, to give opportunities to play, to enjoy, and to enjoy the game, to be together. And also bring communities together through the game. I think this is also very important. Friends playing together in an organized way. And then spread out a game over a longer period. So if you see, for example, Holland, where they are playing every week 1.3 million players at the amateur level. If you see France, I think it's 3.4 million. Germany, 2.8 million. So in a country like Indonesia, which has huge potential, you need to build up a strong base with starting from grassroots, starting from young age participation, to enjoy the game, to be together at local level, at regional level. And then from there, you can build up a pathway to organized football. You can build a pathway to professional football.
Oke, saya nanya mengenai hal yang disebut di awal, yaitu grassroots di level paling bawah. Gimana caranya untuk bisa mengimplementasikan hal itu di Indonesia, di mana negara kita sangat luas dan ini sering jadi tantangan untuk kita. Dan menurut Alex, ini adalah sebuah hal yang harus dibangun dari umur yang sangat muda. Ini di mana anak-anak bisa masih main dan menikmati juga, bisa membangun komunitas masing-masing. Dan ada angka-angka yang dia sebut seperti contohnya di Belanda, di mana setiap minggu ada 1,3 juta orang main sepak bola di level amatir. Di Prancis ada 3,4 juta, di Jerman ada 2,8 juta. Ini adalah angka-angka untuk pemain yang main sepak bola secara amatir aja. Nah, kalau di Indonesia dengan populasi sebesar kita, nah ini potensinya jadi sangat besar untuk kita bisa mengembangkan sepak bola di level lokal. Jadi ini adalah sesuatu yang bisa dikembangkan untuk bisa lebih memperbaiki level grassroots football di Indonesia. I want to talk a little bit about your working relationship. You'll be working closely with our technical advisor for the Federation, Jordi Cruijff, as well as head coach of the senior men's team, Patrick Kluivert. How do you plan on helping our local players achieve the goal of playing football at an international level, joining other leagues around the world, and so on?
So we have the triangle with Patrick Kluivert and Jordi Cruyff to lay out the technical development plan, strategy plan, and based on all the input what we get, shaping the game together, and then by sharing the plans with each other to lay out, okay, what are the key priorities, what we should develop first, what are the most important areas, and what identity at the end we want to build up over here to have a sustainable system. So Patrick with the first team, Jordi as a technical advisor, and myself as a technical leader. But again, it's not only the triangle, it's also the working force on the ground, which helps Indonesian football forwards. So it's also Simon with the talent identification. It's also Gerard Vanenburg with the under-23s and below, Frank Kempen with the under-20s. Also, excuse me if I've spelled the wrong name, but on the 17 national team, Nova, right? Yeah. So, and Indra, so everybody's involved to build up this plan. But at the end, it comes out with Jordi, Patrick, and this triangle to make the final decisions.
Okay, and how closely will you be working with the local league as well to cultivate talent for the national team? How closely will you be working with the local leagues and the local teams in order to cultivate talent for the national squads and how to build them up to reach the goal of playing for the national team?
Yeah, so we with the local leagues, it's more an exchange. So it's not that overseen, but exchange, sharing, making alignments, building out together something in a consultant way, in an advising way. And then together try out to build up the player pathway. At the same time, with the local league events, it's very important for us to say, okay, what are the local talents, but also the local coaches. So to build up local coaches at the local league level. And what are the license requirements? What competency of coaches we want to have in the local leagues? That is also very important alignment. And then also technically, for the clubs, how we can support and facilitate them to build up and to elevate their own players.
Okay, and you also mentioned earlier when we discussed this as the importance of education for coaches as well, right? On top of licensing or prior to licensing.
Yes, every player deserves a coach who understands his needs. So the coach needs to understand who is in front of him and how he needs to approach him to get the maximum out of his own potential according to his own level. So each player has his own potential, but we have to ensure that the coaches inspire players for a better future. And not only thinking about results, we are dealing with human beings, we're dealing with players. So we start first to develop players, not players, but persons. Persons sharing the values where Indonesian football is standing for. I think this is very important to let the players enjoy the game and be involved. And coaching education is a crucial role in this, where we can build together the competencies, what's required for Indonesian football, who carrying out the values and the philosophy and the teaching way of empowering youth players. I think this is very important. Right? We have to empower it. They are the game, not us. We are there for them to build a better future for Indonesian football.
Okay, thank you. Maaf saya agak kepanjangan tadi nanya dua hal karena menurut saya agak nyambung ya. Terutama saya menanya ini seorang Alex akan bekerja sama cukup dekat dengan technical advisor Jordi Cruyff dan head coach Patrick Kluivert juga, dan gimana caranya untuk bisa membina pemain lokal kita supaya bisa lebih merambas ya di kancah internasional dan main di liga-liga luar juga, dan terutama mereka akan membuat technical development plan untuk bisa melakukan itu, dan mereka harus memprioritaskan apa dulu yang harus di-develop, dan juga sekali lagi balik lagi ke identitas kita sebagai pemain sepak bola itu seperti apa untuk bisa memajukan dan bisa mengembangkan mereka lebih lagi. Dan yang pasti juga akan kerjasama dengan dekat dengan level-level lain juga, dari Head of Scouting, Om Simon juga, ada U23, Coach Gerald, U20, Coach Nova, Coach Indra, itu semua sebenarnya harus bekerja sama sebagai satu unit untuk bisa achieve goal yang sama. Nah, saya juga menanya apa ada kerjasama dengan dekat dengan Super League di Indonesia juga untuk bisa mengembangkan pemainnya agar bisa menemukan talent lain untuk bisa diangkat ke tim nasional juga. Dan ini juga ada sesuatu yang harus di-sharing ya, akan membagi antara liga dan juga federasi untuk bisa membangun pemain-pemain lebih baik lagi. Tapi ada satu hal yang paling penting adalah lisensi dan edukasi untuk kepelatihan. Alex sangat berpercaya bahwa pelatih itu sangat penting untuk mereka bisa mengerti pemain apa yang mereka membutuhkan dari setiap level, karena pelatih ini tugasnya tidak hanya untuk mencapai kemenangan, tapi juga untuk memikirkan masa depannya pemain-pemainnya sendiri, apalagi pemain muda. Jadi sekali lagi ya, dia juga sangat percaya bahwa pelatih ini di sini untuk pemain, bukan untuk mereka sendiri. Just a couple more quick points before I open it for the floor. From your perspective, what are some of the key differences with how football is played in Indonesia or Southeast Asia as opposed to other parts of the world? Because again, we mentioned your CV is very extensive all around the globe.
Yeah, if I look to the West Asia region, the football is there very much based on quick transitions, physical, mental, emotions, high emotions inside the game, with quick transitions, a lot of physical work. Well, if I see Indonesian football, very light-footed players, the agility, the coordination, the speed, the stamina is much better than in the Middle East. The ball coordination is from a much better level than I think from the Middle East. So where we need to improve on is more how we play together in a team. So how the individual can let the team shine, and how the team can shine the individual. So that alignment, that connection between each other, that should be fine-tuned. And then you have a great, great, great future ahead, because your potential here is amazing. And it starts with the heart. And I think here in Indonesia, they have a very, very big heart for the game. They love the game. And wherever you are, you see them playing football everywhere. And that's the starting point, I think. If you in every corner of the street, you see them playing football. Unorganized, doesn't matter. But you play football. You make your minutes. You play. You learn. So you're developing yourself. And that's in other regions of Asia is less because of different circumstances. Because of the climate can be different, the living circumstances can be different. But to come back, is the difference, I think, it is Indonesia is much more technical. East Asia is much more technical play. Dynamic feet, they are much lighter on their feet. Well, in West Asia, they are much more heavy on their feet.
Okay.
But more physical, more aggressive, more intention inside. Yeah.
Oke, saya menanyakan apa perbedaan pemain-pemain sepak bola di Indonesia ataupun di Southeast Asia dibandingkan negara-negara lain. Yang observasi dia terutama adalah di bagian Asia yang barat, pemain-pemainnya lebih transisi cepat, lebih main dengan emosi, lebih main dengan fisik ya, lebih kasar, lebih berat gitu mainnya. Dimana di bagian timur Indonesia dan timur selatan itu pemainnya lebih cepat, kakinya lebih enteng, lebih banyak koordinasi dan juga lebih teknis. Cuman ada area yang bisa diperbaiki adalah gimana cara main itu sebagai satu unit atau sebagai satu tim. Dan ini sebenarnya satu hal yang sudah banyak potensinya, karena dia juga menyadari bahwa Indonesia itu banyak sekali orang main sepak bola walaupun tidak terorganisasi sebagai satu tim atau di lapangan, di pinggir jalan pun orang bisa main sepak bola. Jadi ini mungkin skill-skillnya bisa belajar di situ, tapi gimana caranya untuk bisa menggarap passion ini bisa menjadi lebih terstruktur untuk menjadikan sepak bola lebih baik lagi. So last question for me before I let the media have their moment. as somebody who has succeeded in this technical director role in the past, how would you ultimately define success in your role over the next few years as the technical director of the federation here in Indonesia?
The project will be successful if there is a sustainable system where each player gets the opportunity to become a national team player and to realize his dream by having coaches beside him who understands his need, who empowers him and support him, where clubs give the talent an opportunity to grow and to elevate them from an early young stage, and that national teams have a systematic way aligned with the values and the culture of Indonesia, so there is a connection between the people, the nation, as well with the national teams, in the way how the national teams expressing themselves on the pitch, in the way of playing. Then if I finish this project and we succeed in this all together, I will be very honored and very proud.
Alright, thank you. Saya menanyakan gimana caranya Alex mendefinisikan sukses dalam beberapa tahun ke depan di jabatan dia sebagai direktur teknik, dan dia merasa dia akan puas agar sistemnya bisa lebih sustainable atau bertahan untuk jangka panjang, yaitu membuat kesempatan untuk para pemain sepak bola bisa masuk ke level nasional, ada pelatih-pelatih yang bisa mengerti kebutuhan para pemain dan bisa didukung untuk keperluan masing-masing juga, dan juga dari level liga sampai level nasional sampai ke fans di Indonesia itu semua punya visi dan misi dan sama, dan seandainya itu bisa tercapai dia akan sangat bangga dan juga senang. Terima kasih atas waktunya untuk kita berbincang. Thank you for your time, Alex. I'm gonna allow the press to ask a couple of questions if you don't mind. Mungkin dari rekan-rekan media boleh kalau ada pertanyaan angkat tangannya dulu. Boleh dari Mbak yang sebelah sini. Boleh mungkin boleh identifikasi dulu dari mana Mbak, namanya dan dari mana.
Halo, selamat malam. Saya Niat dari National Radio Station RRI. Hey, Coach Jewers, I said maybe welcome back again to Indonesia. As the mentioned previously, you always talking about the system where not only one person or maybe a few persons who have the responsibility to make a success for one team or one football nations. You always mention about the system that's sustainable for the team, for the nations. Is there any possibility with your backgrounds, what you have left, for example, what you create in Jordan national team? Is there any possibility in the next time we will see that maybe you will create a new curriculums or maybe new system for our national football? Because for maybe other people who not born or maybe grow up in Indonesia, it's really a challenging to create system for the nation-wide Indonesia. There's many region from Sabang to Merauke, it's a big region with a 38 province. Is there any possibility that maybe something like that we will create? And maybe one more, as we listen for you talking in the last 1 hour. I haven't heard what is the main reason why you accept offer to become Indonesian technical director. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. So, 2 questions there. First, and this is something we discussed a bit earlier. In a country that's much bigger than Jordan, we have always had a challenge when it comes to logistics. I mean, obviously, we have logistical challenges with so many regions. So, what can be done from that standpoint in order for us to help improve the system or build a better system that we already have?
Yeah. So a system is to make something sustainable with a local legacy. So a local legacy means that you are developing local staff who works accordingly to a certain system in education, at the clubs, inside the national teams, to how I call it, which is aligned with each other. So with the same principles of work, and that everybody takes the responsibility and feel being part of it. And it has to be implemented through educational development programs, by working daily together, by taking the responsibilities of your position, what you are doing. And then from there we roll out the system itself. So you have a certain protocols, step-by-step process, how you, for example, you identify talents, how you deliver courses, how you assess coaches, how you implement a league system where everybody gets the opportunity, how you control that system, how you governance the clubs. So that's maybe the first one. It's a long story. Huh?
Perfect. Yeah. Well, I mean, it will go a lot further, obviously, but yes, you covered a lot of it. And perhaps her second part of her question as to what's the main reason you accepted your new role as technical director?
Yeah. I see Indonesia as a personal life mission. I'm very honored, very proud. I worked for more than 25 years for this moment, to serve a country of 280 million, where there's so much huge potential. I'm very honored to work for Indonesia with legends like Patrick Kluivert, Jordi Cruyff, Mr. Erik Thohir. They really inspired me. The ambitions, what they have, the plans, what they have, the determination to change Indonesian football landscaping really inspired me. So from a personal perspective, I see Indonesia as a life mission. And a life mission, why? Because you have such a huge potential over here. There's the passion for the game is so high. The warmth, what you give. I go outside the plane, the flight attendant say, welcome home. And it feels like that. It feels like I'm coming home. I'm serving a country and I'm just a part of the whole system. But I'm very honored and very proud to be part of Indonesian football in this project.
Terima kasih, thank you. Untuk menjawab bagian pertanyaan yang pertama mengenai gimana caranya untuk membina atau memperbaiki sistem kita karena negara kita sangat luas, gimana caranya untuk bisa membuat sistem yang lebih baik lagi. Ada satu kata yang sebenarnya ini juga kata yang Alex nyebut saat saya ketemu pertama kali hari ini adalah local legacy atau legasi lokal. Ini dimana kita harus membina bukan hanya pemain tapi staff. Dari staf kepelatihan, dan kita juga harus menyamakan prinsip kerja dari semua level, dari staf juga, dan juga edukasi ya, kembali lagi ke edukasi antara kepelatihan, gimana cara membangun program pembinaan juga, dan gimana cara setelah itu caranya untuk assessment atau menilai, gimana caranya implementasi sebelum sistem ini di roll out secara satu negara, karena kalau semuanya sudah align dalam satu visi, ini caranya untuk sistemnya bisa diimplementasi dengan lebih baik. Dan untuk menjawab kenapa dia menerima jabatan ini sebagai direktur teknik di PSSI, terutama ini adalah sebuah personal life mission. Ini adalah sebuah sesuatu yang dia ingin melakukan di hidupnya, di mana dia sudah berkarir selama 25 tahun dan dia merasa sangat terhormat dan bangga untuk bisa memberi jasanya untuk 280 juta plus orang penduduk di sini. Dia juga sangat bangga bisa bekerja sama dengan Bapak Erik Thohir, head coach Patrick Kluivert dan juga Jordi Cruyff, di mana mereka punya sebuah rencana yang ambisius dan ini juga membuat dia sangat terinspirasi juga, dan di mana dia sangat bahagia saat turun dari pesawat ada staf dari pesawatnya yang menyebut selamat datang kembali, selamat datang pulang. Jadi ini adalah sesuatu yang membuat dia merasa ini adalah keputusan yang tepat. Terima kasih Mbak atas pertanyaannya. Mungkin yang berikutnya tadi ada ya Mas duluan deh yang sebelah sini. Terima kasih.
Malam Coach Alex, saya Iksan dari Harian Kompas. Saya punya dua pertanyaan. Yang pertama ngomongin soal sistem, tadi Coach Alex beberapa kali berbicara soal itu. Saya mencatat bahwa sebenarnya dalam sepak bola Indonesia di era-era sebelumnya, termasuk juga di era Pak Erik Thohir sekarang, sudah banyak inovasi yang juga dilakukan, terutama untuk di kalangan grassroots. Kita lihat tadi pagi juga Pak Erik membuka salah satu turnamen usia dini yang cukup besar di Indonesia, dan itu juga kelihatan bahwa gimana bahwa udah ada keinginan untuk maju dan juga mulai banyak tumbuh banyak pelatih-pelatih muda. Tapi masalahnya Coach Alex, sistem yang ada di atas, terutama di level pusat itu terkadang tidak turun sampai ke bawah, sampai ke level grassroots, nggak cuma untuk pelatih tapi juga pemain. Kira-kira pertanyaan pertama saya, apakah Coach Alex punya rencana dalam 100 hari pertama untuk keliling Indonesia, mulai dari Sabang sampai Merauke untuk berbicara langsung dengan terutama dengan pelatih-pelatih di grassroots untuk menjabarkan kira-kira apa yang ada di kepala Coach Alex dan juga apa yang ingin Coach Alex harapkan untuk pelatih-pelatih muda ini untuk mengembangkan pemain-pemain yang tadi Coach Alex sebut ingin pemain Indonesia dididik tidak hanya untuk menjadi pemain tapi juga sebagai manusia di masa depan, membuat mereka tidak hanya menikmati sepak bola tapi juga menikmati hidup di masa depan. Pertanyaan kedua Coach Alex, di Indonesia sudah ada, tadi saya menghitung lebih dari 10 kali Coach Alex menyebut kata filosofi. Dan di Indonesia sebenarnya sudah ada juga filosofi sepak bola Indonesia yang saya alami juga di training lisensi di pelatih itu Villanesia. Nah, ingin pertanyaan saya kira-kira bagaimana perkembangan Villanesia nanti dalam kacamata Coach Alex sebagai direktur teknik di Indonesia. Terima kasih.
Okay, terima kasih. So there's two questions here. The first one was, thank you Iksan, Mas Iksan for the questions. So the first one is in regards to in this era and the prior era in Indonesian football, there has been kind of steps made, innovations made at the grassroots level. For example, Pak Erick Thohir just recently did an opening ceremony for a youth tournament that has taken place as well. And it has shown that there's a lot of youth potential. But there's this gap between the highest level and to where the grassroots are. So what have you got planned in the first 100 days? Do you have any plans to visit any of the regions or to meet any of the coaches and staff in these areas in order for you to get a better understanding on what it is that they need exactly at these levels and in these different areas for them to be able to connect or close the gap? That's the first part of the question. Maybe you can address that first.
Yeah, so first we need to identify the challenges and we need to set the key priorities where we can make the quick wins, and that has to be in the first 100 days, needs to be being done by analyzing, by listening, by talking with the stakeholders, talking with the coaches, talking with the tutors, talking with the national team coaches, talking with the talent ID department. Okay, what are the challenges now? How we can move forward? What are the priorities? Because there are maybe a long list, but we have to take, okay, where we can now make the quick wins. So the first 100 days, we want to take the moment for ourselves to say, okay, where we can set our targets for the short term, where we can go to the grow to the long term, and where we can go for the midterm and the long term. Because it's a process. We cannot implement all at the same time because there's a full ecosystem. It needs to be developed and improved altogether in a step-by-step process. And it needs to be doable together.
Okay, and also a second part of that question was in Indonesian football philosophy. You mentioned philosophy a few times in our conversation, and there's a philosophy that Iksan referred to, which is Villanesia. Is there something that you can use to be implemented in our football federation?
Yeah. So a national football philosophy is based on to respect the past. So recognize what was the strength of Indonesian football before. What was the strength of Indonesian legendary players? What make them different? What make them unique? And at the same time, benchmark Indonesian football to reach our targets. So with top international level. So okay, where are the gaps for our future players? So where we need to work more on, what player we need to have in the future. So that's for the player identity. But then we need also to identify how our national teams, how the teams should express themselves on the pitch. So there need to be a connection between the values of Indonesia and to the style of play, in the way how we coach and how we teach them. And that needs some investigation, benchmarking, setting also with data, also with interviews, also listening to what was the strength in the past to rely on, because we must not forget what happened in the past with your Indonesian legendary players. This is strength. This was your identity. These were your heroes. So we should carry them also to the better future.
Thank you. Untuk menjawab pertanyaan pertama mengenai gimana caranya untuk membuat ini ya, yang pertama adalah gimana caranya untuk bisa identify atau mengenali tantangan yang dihadapi, yaitu Alex mempercayai bahwa ada kebutuhan untuk bisa meraih quick wins atau kemenangan yang lebih cepat. Itu artinya hal-hal yang bisa diselesaikan lebih cepat atau short term ya, solusi untuk masalah yang atau tantangan yang lebih short term, di mana itu akan membawa mereka untuk mencari solusi untuk mid term dan long term juga, karena ini sebuah proses yang cukup panjang ya. Dia harus melakukan ini dengan analisa dan iya benar dengan ngobrol sama stakeholder juga dan para pelatih juga, dan balik lagi ke identifikasikan bakat ya. Ini satu hal yang sering dibahas juga oleh Alex karena ini sebuah penting. Dan mengenai identitas sepak bola di Indonesia, dia sangat mempercayai bahwa masa lalu kita emang harus dihargai ya. Apa kekuatan pemain-pemain kita atau pemain nasional kita dari zaman dulu, apa yang membuat mereka beda, apa yang membuat mereka unik, dan ini hal-hal yang bisa menjadi benchmark untuk kita bisa lihat ke masa depan juga. Jadi untuk kita bisa menilai dari pemain kita sekarang dan apa tujuan kita untuk ke depan. Terima kasih Mas Iksan atas pertanyaannya. One more last one. Yes, silakan yang sebelah kanan dulu.
Terima kasih, saya Abdul Susila dari cnnindonesia.com. Pertanyaannya masih nyambung dengan rekan Kompas tadi. Pertanyaannya, apakah Coach sudah membaca Pilanesia yang sudah diterbitkan oleh PSSI sejak 2017? Kalau sudah, apa yang ingin disempurnakan dari Pilanesia tersebut? Kalau belum, di era digital sekarang, anak-anak kecil di akar rumput sudah terbiasa dengan video, dengan digital. Metode model apa yang akan dibawa oleh Coach Alex ini untuk metode pelatihan kepada anak-anak kita di Indonesia?
Okay, thank you. So he's again referring to the Indonesian philosophy that was published by the Indonesian Football Federation in 2017, Villanesia. And if you have or are not familiar or not familiar with it, and also how you plan on using technology to be able to connect and kind of develop, because the youth now are very connected with technology, and how this will help enable football development in Indonesia as well.
So it's very important to have a sustainable, successful project where your national team is performing on the highest level and where your talents keep on developing on the highest level, is that you're all the time up to date with the modern standards of the game. So you need to benchmark and challenge yourself all the time. Where are the weak points? Where are the strong points? And through data, for example, you can compare how the performance is being done inside the leagues, domestic leagues, local leagues, professional leagues, senior football, but also with your own national teams, and then benchmark it to reachable countries in the region itself. And then you put yourself in the step-by-step process up. So the national football philosophy needs to be continuously updated and refreshed. So because development is an ongoing process where you need to be up to date, because other countries are moving, other countries are investing.
Thank you, Alex. Ini mengenai filosofi juga, tapi terutama mengenai teknologi ya. Alex merasa kita harus tetap berkembang dan keep up ya dengan teknologi secara update dengan standarisasi yang lebih modern juga, karena inilah caranya kita bisa membandingkan diri bukan hanya di dalam negara kita sendiri antara liga atau antara tim, tapi bisa membandingkan kita di level yang sama negara-negara lain juga secara internasional. Dan kembali lagi ke filosofi, ini juga jadi sesuatu yang mungkin bisa membantu kita memperbarui atau update filosofi kita juga, karena negara-negara lain di dunia sepak bola juga tetap akan maju dan akan adaptasi secara filosofi juga, jadi kita juga harus bisa melakukan hal yang sama. Oke, saya berterima kasih atas waktunya. Sepertinya kita udah selesai. Terima kasih atas kehadiran semua rekan-rekan media. Mungkin kita akan kasih kesempatan untuk foto untuk Alex. We'd like to present you with a jersey that you can take a picture of. So if you could join us at the front of the stage. So we could have you hold up the jersey, maybe from the middle of the stage. Okay, have you facing front, Alex? In 3, 2, 1. Okay, one to the left side, on the left side of it, yes. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, and 1, and one to the right. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And can we have you turn the jersey the other way, Alex, facing forward? Put the shirt, yep, we'll have one with the jersey facing forward. In 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, and 1 to the left. 3, 2, and 1, and one last one to the right. 3, 2, and 1. And we can have Eric here as well to join on stage to welcome Alex officially. Bukan meriah semuanya untuk Alexander Zwiers. Congratulations dan welcome home. Selamat datang sekali lagi untuk Alexander Zwiers sebagai Direktur Teknik Federasi Sepak Bola Indonesia, dan dipersilakan untuk Exco dan Sekjen teruskan dan abadikan momen ini sekali lagi. Terima kasih. Okay, one more on the left, sebelah kiri dulu sekali. Yes, and we can have the rest of the guard. Simon, Coach Indra. Okay, sekali untuk ke depan. One facing front in 3, 2, and 1. One more, 3, 2, and 1 to the left, please. Ke sebelah kiri. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Dan terakhir sebelah kanan ya. 3, 2, and 1. 3, 2, and 1. Once again, big round of applause, everyone. It's now official. We have the new technical director of the Indonesian Football Federation. Kami ingin mengucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya atas kehadiran semua rekan-rekan media untuk momen yang sangat spesial ini. Alex, thank you once again. Great to talk with you. We will talk to you in the future days to come.